Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this tutorial we'll write a Python program to print this number pattern. Shape of this pattern is square and the number we want to print here is, we want to print 5 in first row, 4 in second row, 3 in third row, 2 in fourth row and 1 in the last row. Here number of row is 5 and number of column of this pattern is 5. If number of row is 4, then we want to print 4 first in the first row, next 3, next 2, next 1. If number of row is 3, then we want to print 3, 2, 1 like this. So how to print these numbers? Here actually 5 is nothing but the number of row or number of column. So we can print this easily. And to get these remaining numbers, if you minus row number from the number of row, that is here row number is 1, 5 minus 1 will get 4, and here row number is 2, 5 is the number of row, 5 minus 2 3, 5 minus 3 2, 5 minus 4 1. So we'll get this number. So what we need to do? We need to minus row number from the number of row. Okay, so this is about this pattern. Next, let's write the program. The first step in the number pattern program is we need to take the input from the user. So first let's take a variable and we'll use input function to take input from the user, and we'll ask the user to mention number of row. Here number of row and number of column are equal in our pattern. So you can ask the user to mention number of column also. Now here I am using Python 3, so we need to convert our input to integer because number of row is an integer value. Okay, so we are done with the first step. The next step is we need to use nested for loop. The first for loop is for row, and here row is a variable name, and in the range function we need to mention how many row we want in our output. We want num rows. Next, inside this we need to take the for loop for column. Here you need to mention how many columns we want in our output. Here col is the variable name. Next, inside this for loop we need to print the number. To get the required number, we need to subtract, we need to minus row number from the number of row. Here number of row is num and row number is row. So we need to write like this. Next, end is equal to space to print space between the values. To get the number we need to use this formula. You need to minus row number from the number of row. Then here you need to use print function inside the first for loop, outside the second for loop. That is for new line. We want to print numbers in different row in different line. For that we need to use this print function. If you have any confusion why we are using this print function, why we need to use nested for loop and all, you must watch the previous tutorials, pattern tutorials. I will give the link of that video in the description box. If you have any doubt, you can go and watch that. Now let's save this file and run this program. Here you need to mention number of row. I'll mention 5, and here we can see the output. If I take number of row as 4, here you can see the output. So this is the first solution. You need to take the input from the user, use nested for loop, and here to print numbers, you need to use this formula, num minus row. You can print this pattern in another way also. That is, here you can see in the first row we want to print 5, that is the number of row in this pattern. Then in the next row we want 4. If you minus 1 from the previous value, we'll get this value. If I minus 1 from the previous value, I'll get this value. You can use this method also. For this, first here you need to take a variable and store the number of row in that value. Next, here you need to print value val. Next, inside the first for loop you need to decrement that by 1. So initially value will be 5. So it will print that. After completing that, it will come here, value become 4, and it will execute this for loop and it will print 4 in every column, and it will come here, it will execute like this. If I save this and execute this, number of row is 5, and here you can see the output. So in the second method, you can store number of row in a variable, then you can print that, and after executing a row, you need to decrement the value by 1 to print the values in the next row. Here, after printing this, to print these values, I need to decrement the previous value by 1. So we need to do that. We need to write this statement inside the first for loop, not inside the second for loop. Okay. So this is about this pattern. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will meet you in next class. Till then, take care.